All right, my man, state your name and let them know you on Real Talk with Knick.
Yeah, this is Mike Quick on Real Talk with Knicks.
That's what's up, man. And you're a Knick fan.
Yes, I am.
Who's your favorite player on the Knicks?
RJ Barrett.
What you like about his game, man?
I like about RJ Barrett is that he lets the game come to him, and he also have realized that, he needs to take charge when it's time to take charge. I
Yeah?
like him because he has a team player mentality.
You think so?
I do.
You think he's going to be the face of the franchise?
I believe so. He's shown that at the end of this past season, the way he was actually to put the Knicks on his back on several games to actually turn out a victory.
Okay. Now, I ask all my interviews the same question when it comes to RJ Barrett. Was you that optimistic when he was a rookie? Talking about the draft class. He came out the draft class with the third pick. We all wanted Zion.
Well, I didn't want Zion. I wanted RJ Barrett.
Even over John Morant?
No, not over Ja Morant. Ja Morant was actually my first pick overall for the Knicks, but then once they took RJ Barrett over Zion, I was like, I like that pick better.
Okay.
Because to me, I felt that, Zion was a bit overweight for his size. And with that weight and him dunking the way he was doing, is only going to wear and tear on his knees.
Okay. But for RJ, you seen the all-around game.
Yes, RJ definitely has an all-around game. Ja Morant, even though he's an explosive player, he's a little bit light, but it seems like this season he's shown he has come into his own. But I think the Knicks is maybe a move or two away from actually being a number 2 seed in the league, in their division.
Okay, now when you speak of the Knicks possibly having the potential of being a number 2 seed in their division, what are the pieces you feel that's needed to fulfill that journey, man?
I think while the stakes are high with RJ Randle, I think we should make some move and get a viable player to actually propel us to that next level.
Yeah? And as far as Julius Randle, do you think we should package him? Someone's not happy when we speak of RJ, man. I mean, not RJ, excuse me, Julius Randle.
Right.
Is saying he's turning over the rock too much. He ain't gelling with the players, let alone the fans, showing disrespect. What's your input on that, man?
Randle kind of remind me of the mentality that Carmelo developed into, holding the ball too long, driving the ball too long. The difference is that when Carmelo was young, he used to turn around, play his low post game, and then he had a nice little mid-range jumper to go with it. That's what made him a star in the league. And I think that's where Julius Randle should take his game at. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, look how Derrick Rose has modified his game. That mid-range jumper is deadly. You got that, trust me, we already know you got a low post game. You combine them two, stay away from the 3-pointers. Leave that to the guards and the forwards to take those, the small forwards to take those jumpers.
Speaking of mid-range game, how you feel about RJ Barrett's mid-range game, man?
I think it has improved since he came into the league.
Yeah? Because, all right, now, as far as combo guards, man, my boy Emmanuel quickly, man.
Emmanuel quickly. I see him. I don't want the Knicks to give up on him too quick, and I don't want them to package him in any type of deal. I think he's a up-and-coming star in this league.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I see it. He has that mentality. He's not afraid. And once he gets a little bit more consistent with that mid-range jumper, he'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Wow. Okay. And what are the things that you see in Emmanuel quickly that you probably didn't see in other combo guards that makes you want to say, that's a star in the making right there?
I think Emmanuel quickly is very quick. He's becoming elusive with his style of play, and once he just elevate that 3-point consistency, he'll be up there with the best of them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you think he should be the Knicks' future point guard? Because the Knicks is in need of a point guard.
Well, if we're looking, it's going to take time. It's definitely going to take time. I think if the Knicks would make moves to get a guard or something like that, point guard, there's a few players out there that they can look to invest in that can help develop Emmanuel quickly.
Do you have any in mind? Because we got Derrick Rose, who was currently with us. He was mentoring Emmanuel quickly at one time in the backcourt.
Rose, if he can stay healthy and he's there with us, if he can continue to give us that other side of him, hey, I'm all for it.
You're all for that? All right, now I want to speak about another power forward in the backcourt. Obi Toppin. All right, I put a smile on your face, man. We speak of Obi, man.
Obi can be very electrifying. Once again, I stress this with everybody. Mid-range jumper. He has the height. He can become the modern day Kevin Durant or Giannis.
What about Maury? Some say he got a similar game to that of a Stoudemire. You don't see that?
Not as of yet. I don't see it as of yet. I still need a little bit more development from Obi Toppin, but he's another asset I think that we should not give up on anytime soon. Let's develop him. That's one of the problems the Knicks had was lack of development of their players. If they take the time and stick with the players that they got and develop them, they'll become like how Golden State has become. You develop your players, you stick with your investment, and the rest can be history.
Right.
We need a championship back in New York, the mecca of basketball, ASAP.
I hear that. Now, when you speak of development, is Tom Thibodeau the right coach to bring that development when we speak of the youth? Some say he run his players down. Some say he put too much time with his vets. I mean,
a lot of times I think a coach like Tom Thibodeau, when he spend a lot of time with his vet, that's up to the youngsters to pretty much do their part, learn, watch, and learn. Now, me personally, I always thought that anybody or any organization in the NBA should hire someone like Hakeem Olajuwon. If you got a big man, teach them the low post game. And I think that would help also out Julius Randle. Somebody to teach him how to stay around the block and play to his strength. Mark Jackson, I think, would have been a good coach for the Knicks as well. You know, as long as he can keep a certain personal aspects of his life out of it, because everybody might not rock the same way he
right. Some say Phil Jackson, man, ruined the Knicks, man, for the short period of time that he came.
That was turned out to be a disappointment for the organization. And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, there were other viable coaches that they could have got in there, you know, to actually help the Knicks along. We should have been at the top already.
Now,
we've shown flashes.
Right. Now, we know Mike Woodson was once with us.
Yes, Mike Woodson did a hell of a job. I don't understand why they gave up on him so quickly. You know?
Yeah. And then, you know, I think he was the first coach to bring us back to the playoffs since Melo.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, we had like...
That's correct.
And
it's all about the pieces that you have around you. And that was an exciting year. And hats off to Kurt Thomas. I salute you, my brother, because let me tell you something. He left it on the floor. Injured and all, came out there, and he propelled us that year to get to the playoffs.
Right.
Kurt Thomas.
I hear you, man. You're giving that man his flowers ASAP. I hear you, man. So once again, man, Tom Thibodeau, man, he's a defensive coach. They say defense wins games, man. You hear that all the time.
That's right.
And you heard in the past, and you just brought it up, saying that the Knicks don't give players time to develop. You think that was the case when we speak of players like Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina?
Knox, maybe. Frank Nikita, I didn't see it. He's still in Dallas, still kind of playing timid. It's like he seemed like it's going to take him even longer, if never, probably never. I just watched him just recently when they lost to Golden State, even though I was rooting for the Warriors. But, you know, former Knicks out there, I like to see them do well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Okay. So you don't think Frank Ntilikina was ready? You think that was a good move to get rid of him?
Yes.
But you think it's a bad move that we got rid of Kevin Knox?
And Kevin Knox, I think we gave up on a little bit too early.
And would you say that because Kevin Knox was coached under 3 different coaches? Like he didn't have like a set coach to really mentor and set in and get conditioned?
If the chemistry is not just about one player, I think if you keep a chemistry of a collective guys, they have to gel. They got to be like second nature. I should automatically just feel you over here, get you that no-look pass. I'm supposed to know where people are supposed to be at on the floor at all times. So if we don't play together as a unit, we can never be successful. And remember, it took Chicago Bulls several years before they got their first championship.
Right. Remember, they used to always get bumped by the Pistons.
Same way with Golden State. People tend to forget that. Everyone wants instant gratification. It's not going to happen overnight.
All right, so being that you said the Knicks need to develop the youth, and we're starting to have youth players, how long do you think it would take for that development to be effective, man? How many years does it take?
Well, that's based upon the coaches. That's why they are coaches. They're supposed to have an eye for talent, knowing if a person is coachable and if they can adapt and learn to different schemes, or no matter who comes in there. You got to have the basic basketball IQ. A great basketball player has a high basketball IQ. You can have all the talent, you can shoot, you can jump through the roof, but if you don't have what it takes here to be on that floor, you're going to be on the bench and eventually out the league.
Okay. Now I want to talk about centers. And we speak of that of Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, Mitch.
He's coming up with an extension. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this summer.
I say pay the man. Pay him, get somebody in there, like I said before, like Akeem Olajuwon. If you can teach someone, Mitchell Robinson, that low post game, help him develop it. See, Mitchell Robinson will play to his strength. He's not out there trying to take 3-pointers, on a consistent basis like Julius Randle. He needs to be down on the block, do what he has to do. And if he develop a mid-range jumper as well as over 50%, deadly.
I've heard Mitch say in some interviews that he has a 3-pointer that the Knicks don't want him to
take.
Yeah. He said that he's been working on that, but he hasn't been displaying it.
You know what he has to do? If he puts himself in that situation, clock running down, if he happens to be out there and the guard running at him, take that 3-pointer. No one's going to be mad at you. If you hit it enough, that's going to open up another doors. It's going to open up things even more down low for Julius Randle.
Yeah, okay. Now I want to talk about all this hype around Donovan Mitchell hanging with Emmanuel quickly during the offseason. I don't know whether you was aware of that.
I've heard something like that was mentioned.
Okay. Do you think the Knicks is trying to pull
Donovan Mitchell
to New York? And if so, do you think it would be a good fit?
I think it'll be a good fit. I think Donovan Mitchell will be an explosive player. And when you're an explosive player, you're going to draw the double team, the possible triple team. You kick it out open to your other teammates. It should be nothing but water all day long.
So you like Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I like him. I like his game.
If Donovan Mitchell was to come to the Knicks, what do you think he would bring to the offensive game? Who would get more looks? Who you think the game will open up? Who game would Donovan Mitchell complement if he was to come to New York?
I think he can complement R.J. Barrett's game a lot because R.J. Barrett shows that he can take you to the left side of the board and the right side of the board. And I think R.J. Barrett will actually see the R.J. Barrett be drafted because a lot of pressure will be taken off of him. And he'll be wide open.
Do you think there's another ceiling to R.J. Barrett's game?
Yes, I think there is.
You do.
Remember, we just seen that there's a little bit more better development towards the end of the season. So I'm looking forward for the upcoming season just to see what the Knicks bring. Just hopefully it's not high-priced tickets.
Oh, my man. And that's what it is, man. I want to thank the OG for coming on Real Talk with Nick. When we talk nothing but Knick basketball in the heart of Harlem, y'all. And in the description box, I'm going to leave a link to a song that I made for the Knicks, getting at the Brooklyn Nets. It's called The Knicks Are the Kings of New York. Now, some might say, the Knicks ain't win no rings in 50-plus years. But guess what? The Nets ain't got none. And Kevin Durant just got handed brooms. And now I'm hearing talks that he want to leave the Nets. So that's something to think about, y'all. Yeah.
Come across the waters. That'll be nice.
Peace.